Hello and welcome. Saskia, Devotional Goddess here. Thank you for visiting my landing page and for wishing to know more about what I have to offer and how I can serve you and help and support you. My business is called Devotional Goddess because the divine goddess, the divine feminine and the divine masculine resides in each and every human being. And in part of our coming to earth and embodying this divine body that we live in is about the union between the masculine and feminine within us, the right and left hemispheres of our brain, the right and left sides of our physical body, creating balance within and externally in the physical body, as well as on the inner internal landscapes. What do I mean by that? In our transitions through life, our major transitions, the birth of a child, our menopause as women, are two major transitions in our life. And in the course of a lifetime, we will have many other transitions too. Illness can be another. It is the ending of one life cycle and the beginning of another. And rarely is it spoken about, rarely is it paused on, rarely is it acknowledged, even with our children when our daughters have their menses. Some cultures honor it and recognize it as them stepping into their womanhood, and others don't. We rarely honor the small life cycles within our own being and the larger life cycles within our lifespan. But it is in the pausing of the two that we get to integrate and digest the transition. And it is in those larger transitions that we also often bear witness to our woundings. We're not sleeping well. Our anxiety kicks in. We feel like we're having a nervous breakdown. The untamed energy, the trauma, the undigested life has an opening, and it begins to seep out. It begins to find a way to come to the surface so it can be purged and healed and released. But we're not taught how to do that in our Western society. We're just asked to keep going, put your head down, and keep going. We're in survival mode. We're not always able to take on the disruptions of a dysregulated body. And we don't always know how to cater to that disruption. This is where a therapist or a coach can come into play and create the foundation, offer the support in which to how to navigate this terrain, how to help with healing and support so that you can move and find some footholds with which to move forwards with a steadier ground beneath you, with a steadiness in your heart. This is what I offer with my coaching. Tools with which to come and turn inwards. Tools with which to navigate life, to refine the tools with which to maintain stability. We're going to come off balance at times. That is the nature of life. We have our ups and downs. But how do we recoup after these ups and downs? How do we know how to come back to our center? Do you even know how to regain your center? This is a key lesson that I learned through my yoga practice, through my yogic teachers, and that I'm continuing to learn. This is a lifetime journey of learning. But the tools with which to set the foundation are always available to us. And they are the building blocks, the foundational building blocks from which we can move forwards from greater stability and greater steadiness. What do I mean? I'll give you an example. When I went through my cancer journey, just even at the beginning, when they found the lump, or I found it first, knowing that I had a mammogram and my annual ultrasound, and I knew, okay, this is an area we need to get checked out. Is it malignant? Is it not? Is it a tumor? Is it not? And then discovering that it was a cancerous tumor. And then discovering, oh, it's also in the lymph. And then discovering it's not just a biopsy. You're going to need to have chemo. You're going to need to have surgery. We'd like to take the breast. I was like, no way am you taking my breast. Okay, then we'll make a large incision on your spine. We'll take the fat from your spine and we'll fill in the breast area. And then we have radiation. So throughout that journey, I needed to lean into my inner strength, to my inner resilience, so that rather than cursing the situation, being angry at it, resenting it, fighting against the medicine, I could cultivate a practice of surrender. And I won't sugarcoat it. It was hard to say thank you to the chemo for doing its work and killing the cells. Even though I knew that healthy cells were being killed with the cancerous cells. Even that I knew there has to be another way that is not so invasive and not so violent to the body and to the soul and to the mind. But this was the path I was on. And I had to make peace with it. And I had to surrender. And I had to trust in the unfolding. And I had that trust within me. And it was also an initiation to deepen my trust, to deepen my ability to surrender, not only to the journey of the chemo, of the medicine, but also to my community, who I had asked for help and asked for support, and then I needed to follow through and be able to call them up and say, I need your help now. Can you drive me to the hospital? Can you come take care of my children? Can you drop off a meal? At that point, I was so on my knees, that wasn't so hard to do. Moments it was easier than others. But I needed to lean into that. And it was actually my strength that allowed me to surrender. It was actually my strength that allowed me to let go. Because I knew I was being held by something larger than me. Whatever it is you want to call it. And I knew from my meditations, from my contemplations, from my practice, that this was a contract that I had. a soul contract that I had this lifetime, and that this was part of my journey. I had done nothing wrong. This was part of one of my lifetime learnings. And that made it palatable for me. It made it easier for me to accept the journey that I was on. So do you have a practice that you can lean into? Do you have a belief that you can lean into? This is what I do with my coaching clients. I help them to make peace with their journey. Help them to digest the undigested life that resides within each of us. But when it comes bubbling to the surface without invitation, it can be shocking, can be disarming, and it can be fearful, can be scary. But if you have a way of leaning into this practice, you will come to understand just how strong you are and how capable you are. And you will continue to build upon that strength, build upon that knowledge, and only get stronger. Many blessings. Thank you for visiting.